Welcome to the Hidden Orchard podcast, a radical exploration of spirituality, science, and the Bible from a Jewish perspective. Each week we'll look at a new topic and dive deep into the texts that inspire and enrich our lives. So whether you're a seasoned expert or just curious about a topic, there's something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and we'll get to today's episode in a bit. But first, if you haven't done so, visit thehiddenorchard.com and subscribe. It's free, and you'll receive access to content and weekly emails. There you can also subscribe for a paid membership and get access to everything on the site and be the first to hear about online study opportunities where you can meet and interact with other people on the journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have an idea for a topic, reach out to me at thehiddenorchard.com. Now, let's get to today's episode. We are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. But these are not my words. This was the abstract of Nick Bostrom's paper, Are You Living in a Computer Simulation, from 2003. The simulation hypothesis, also known as simulation theory, suggests that our conscious reality, that is all we perceive, is not fundamental. This implies that our physical world is simply an interface for a higher reality that we are unable to perceive, something outside of our senses. While the scientific community has had some mixed feelings initially, simulation theory has gained traction and increased support in the last few years. And this is especially true in the domains of neuroscience, physics, computer science, and mathematics. The primary claim of simulation theory is that the space-time existence we live and function in is more like a complex virtual reality program. Though it feels incredibly real, and on one level is very real, our physical reality adheres to a pattern of complex mathematics, similar to programming, and hints that there remains yet a higher reality. This is an exciting, potentially unsettling concept, but this isn't a new idea. Many ancient cultures share the assumption that our physical world is not the ultimate or base reality. Present in many Eastern religions is the idea that there is an incomprehensible, infinite source behind all that we see and feel. These ideas are also present throughout the Bible and the rabbinic tradition. The Torah hints often that there is more beyond this physical existence. Thus, the sages have long assumed the belief that our physical world is not the fundamental reality. Even the idea that the world is built upon a kind of programming language is reflected throughout the rabbinic literature and the Kabbalah. The Midrash tells us that it was through the Torah that God created the world. Some aspects of Jewish tradition have regarded the 32 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, the 22 letters and 10 numbers, as a kind of source code operating behind creation. The introduction to the Zohar shares the idea that the Creator carefully selected and utilized each letter for its unique contribution to creation. Thus, through the Hebrew letters, everything was created, formed, and continues to be renewed with an imperceptible refresh rate, ideas that mirror science. Though it was short-lived, Adam and Eve experienced some degree of a higher reality upon their creation. However, after the sin in the garden, no other human has experienced that reality since. The aftermath of sin has fundamentally transformed and downgraded all of creation, leaving us in a state of deficiency and entropy. Moses was given a glance of this higher reality, which appeared to him in the form of a kingdom when he received the Torah at Mount Sinai. And it was from that blueprint the tabernacle and the temples were built. Of course, Ezekiel saw a throne and some otherworldly entities in his vision, as did Isaiah, all of it incomprehensible to us three-dimensionally bound creations. And in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus references a higher existence to be inherited by the poor and the humble at some point in the redeemed future. An idea we've written about in the past, Paul describes his trip to the third heaven, as well as the author of Hebrews telling us about the visible reality being downstream from an invisible one. So what's the purpose? If this world is a simulation, some may ask, what is the point? Are we powerless within the programmed reality that we live and breathe? While the science community is not necessarily concerned with the purpose behind these phenomena, the sages share some insight that is instructive. Pirkei Avot 4:16 says this world is like a hallway to the world to come. Prepare yourself in the hallway that you may enter into the banquet hall. We are neither trapped nor powerless. Our world is based on participation, and our actions, words, and thoughts matter and have the power to deeply influence outcomes in this reality. Our physical world is not to be escaped. We are to use our physicality as a tool, aligning it with the higher reality. This represents the primary aim of spiritual refinement in all disciplines, such as repentance, observing mitzvot, avoiding negative prohibitions, performing acts of kindness, and engaging in soul refinement, also known as musar. The Kabbalah builds upon these ideas, seeking ways to optimize our lower reality by drawing down divine energy, blessings, into the world while seeking to avoid the negative outcomes of human error. In a sense, it's as if we are playing in a virtual reality space with ever-present awareness that there's more than this virtual program. If indeed our world is a kind of simulation, an interface for the soul to interact in 3D space-time, this has the power to reframe inexplicable events. Perhaps our trials and struggles are part of this higher programming, something our soul requires for development. This may give us a new model from which to view world events and personal tribulations, adding a higher possibility to our life experiences. A recent favorite quote of mine states, "If we assume that everything that happens to us is happening in space-time, and that space-time is the fundamental reality, then we are going to be confused. What we're seeing is that space-time is just a visualization tool we are using for things that are happening outside of space and time." We've entered a new era, one that was foreseen. The school of the Vilna Gaon is credited with having seen this writing on the wall. Their position was that the sciences would eventually open the gates for the revelation of Torah wisdom ahead of the Messianic era. While mainstream science tends to lag behind the latest research, the cutting edge of modern science is rapidly taking its place in God's plan, conforming to and even helping unlock ideas that have existed in Jewish thought for millennia. In a relatively unknown meeting between Albert Einstein and Rav Avraham Kook in 1923, the two discussed Einstein's theories. Though Einstein was not keen on matters of spiritual nature, Rav Kook assured him, "A scientist who deals with the laws of nature is in fact dealing with the spiritual world as well." And I've written about this in the past, a little bit more on that not so well-known meeting, but very fascinating discussion between the Kabbalah and science. Anyhow, the synthesis of these perspectives offers a compelling bridge between faith and science, allowing ancient ideas to come to life in a new way and providing access to the secrets of the wisdom of Torah for those who can grasp them both. If our reality is a simulation, then the Torah is our user manual. Mitzvot, musar, and repentance are the tools that enable us to align with the source code of truth and the world to come. In the end, the question for me is not whether or not we are in a simulation, but how we choose to live within it. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed this topic. Remember, you can find more information at thehiddenorchard.com. If you liked what you heard, please leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. We don't really engage in marketing, so it's word of mouth and references like that really help spread the word. Also, I want to say thank you to those who subscribe to the site and those who support the Hidden Orchard Project financially. Without you, it wouldn't be possible, so thank you. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.